Oh, they're President Lemon. It's just like my real job. It's like I'm working with half the crew now. So I don't have Melanie or Dave doing the chats or anything. So I'm doing this I'm doing this by myself solo. So everybody get a chance to take a look at me and try to get me down. Everybody, welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Happy holidays for all those of you celebrating, and our friends here in the States who will be celebrating in just a couple of days. Welcome and happy Thanksgiving as we're approaching that Thursday, because this Saturday will be the launch of the 60th anniversary special. The first one, the Star Beast, will be premiering that day, and we are all excited. In the meantime, as we're moving closer and closer to our Christmas, other Christmas special coming up with Ncuti Gatwa premiering as the 15th Doctor, we will be reviewing the Christmas Invasion today, and also for all of our fans, let you know we are going to be having an episode right after this. This is going to be a very short episode, so no after party, because we're having 2 episodes today where we're going to want to get your reviews on the Christmas Invasion. So let me go ahead and get things started, get this banner down for you so you can see the rest of the team, and as we say hi, so we'll do it real fast because we've only got an hour. Oh, I removed the wrong banner. That's good of me. I told you I need Dave and Melanie here. There we go. Here's the right banner. Woo! There we go. Tom, you look so enthused out there. Good night. I told you I was removing the banner out there.
Are we live?
We are. You know
I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
You're killing me. I know. So without further ado, folks, let me go ahead and introduce our panelists. We'll start off with going clockwise. We're going to start with Nick Smith. How you doing there, Nick?
I'm good. Happy holidays.
Welcome,
everybody.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. The lovely Mackenzie Floor, or the Right of Wands.
Hello.
And I don't care if I say it, the Hitchhiker's Guide. No, the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who. Check her out on her Twitch channel. She goes live almost every other day. She plays games, and I try to harass her as much as I can politely out there. How's it going there, Mackenzie?
It's going well, but it's technically Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I wish I could go every other day. It's just
okay.
Not there yet.
Well, subscribe to her Twitch channel, and when she goes live, you can jump in, and we can go, torture the heck out of Mackenzie out of there. And X's for show, and husbands talking more or less. We got Kevo. Really? Kevo, how you doing there, my brother?
Happy Christmas, doing good, excited that we are discussing what is technically David Tennant's first story, the week that he is getting his second first story. What great timing. Couldn't have planned it better.
Well, technically it's his third first story because he's Metacrisis. So he's got, yeah. Did you almost lose the hat?
Yeah, I'm taking it off anyway. It's not.
He flipped his lid.
You got the memo.
Time you want me anyway.
I've got tinsel. It's fine.
And we've got the lovely Melina Vader. How you doing there, Melina? Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
Always. And she's going to be representing our Puerto Rican. She's going to bring in the fun and excitement from over there. And speaking of fun and excitement, you saw him earlier, Tom. laid back.
The mug thing is the mug thing is my friend Ray, who does collecting classics on Instagram. To Masters Universe. He just came back from the hospital, so I said, if I'm on a show, that's his tagline. He drinks something and goes, "Are we live?" So that's my nod to him.
Great. And don't forget, I'm going to try my best to get to your chats. Hey, I'm the only one wearing the hat now. I'm going to try to get to your chat, so I apologize. And of course, if you haven't seen our episodes, your first time, how we rate the Doctor Who episodes or the Big Finish or whatever we're rating, we do it on a scale of 1 through 10, 1 being awful, 10 being great TARDISes. And because of the time constraint, because we are going to be doing another episode right after this one, we want to go ahead and get things started. And we're going to go with always our lowest number first. So without further ado, Kevo, you gave it a 6.
I gave it a generous 6. And the thing is, I didn't judge this as an episode of Doctor Who specifically. I judged this with all the themings and trappings by its Christmas merits. As an episode, yeah, it's great. But as a Christmas episode, I feel like only about 20 to maybe 40 tops % of this episode is Christmas, or in any way like the theme or spirit of Christmas. It's all really depressing and dry. the Doctor is barely even in any of it. Like 20 minutes of this
Like
episode
Blink.
is like, yeah, 20 minutes of this episode is spectacular, and Christmas and Rose shopping with Mickey at the very beginning was a really beautiful scene between the two of them. Seeing more Jackie and Mickey was great. The stuff at the end is great. But otherwise, as a Christmas episode, no, this is definitely not one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And I wish we had a better Rose and 10 episode, because I love Rose and 10. But,
okay. Yeah, hello, Andrew. And I think the irony of that you pick 6, and if you're looking to our right, your left, you have David Tennant holding a big 6. Find out in 6 episodes like that. So, was it coincidence?
That is one of our broadcasts. If you are curious, I feel like if you're watching this show, you know if you like Doctor Who. But check it out.
Hey, Mark.
We'll be covering the specials as well in our own way. Who knows how?
Gotcha out there. So gave it to the 6 out there. And of course, if you want, I'm running through the chats right now. You want to put in your number and the reason why you picked your number, by all means. What was that?
How is it 4? What's his name? Said it was his 4th first story. I get 3 for the Meta Crisis. How is it his 4th third story?
Well, there's the mini-sode.
First. Yeah.
The mini-sode.
Then this last week was already the 14th Doctor's first story. Like, that's semantic. Then Saturday's not his first episode. Then we already had it.
Kevo, it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. We can't just get away from that anymore out there. President Lemon, what do you mean? My Christmas is filled with being shot at by mass Santas. Okay, wow.
That was Christmas even, but like the coma and the crying, and he left me, Mom. That's not Christmas. It's sad.
Uh-oh.
And not like Christmas sad. It's
but we
like
got a new Doctor out of it.
We did, and his part was fantastic.
And I'm stealing from Tom from just a little bit because he told me his rating is to reason. No, I'm going to leave it to Tom. He's not the lowest number, but I do want to make sure, because he mentioned something earlier to us about why he changed his number at the last minute out there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the second lowest number, 6. Mackenzie.
Yeah,
you picked 7.
I picked 7, and maybe that was even generous.
What's wrong with
as well. And
Andrew agrees with you.
Yeah, it's an okay episode. I looked at it from the point of view of the very first episode for a Doctor, and Tennant definitely did not have his best. He, as other people have mentioned, he was barely in the episode. He stayed asleep for most of it, so you really didn't get to know this Doctor that well. It was more of Rose reading the show, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's supposed to be Christmas time and joyful, and it's just.
But it's Doctor Who, so you got to have an adventure, and of course you got to have some weird Santas going on out there.
Yeah,
but it's not adventurous.
It's not adventurous though. We got this flying Christmas tree that's trying to kill everybody.
I'm sure it's like his first role as the Doctor. That's got to be perfect. He's sleeping in pajamas the whole time, and it's just like everybody else is doing the work.
I think he said that too. I think he's even said that himself.
He has said that.
Yes.
Gotcha. So, okay, well, let's pull away from Mackenzie. Let's pull away from David Tennant. What about the other 3? And anybody can jump into this one. What about the other 3 supporting cast, as this story had focused on Mickey, Rose, and Jackie? What do you guys think about that, having the supporting cast? But Mackenzie, it's your question. Go for it.
Well, I really liked it from the perspective of like Rose being the lead in that aspect, but other than that, it's still an okay episode. But they did brilliant. They did very well for a supporting cast, being able to really lead that episode and run with it. That was great. It just wasn't my favorite episode, that's for sure.
And it's not your favorite Christmas episode, or where would you rank it out of? Like in your top 10 Christmas episodes? Yeah, like the Christmas Carol. The Doctor, the Wizard, the Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. God, I always get that messed up. It's like saying Hitchhiker's Guide to Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so well, it probably
would it be like would this be like a show that you would watch, like if Chris, like for me, and this is a new tradition for me, if I don't see Doctor Who Christmas Carol, it's not Christmas. Believe it or not.
I get that.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, if I'm going to watch a Christmas episode, I go right to Matt Smith right off, except for that Witches and Wardrobe one. That one is towards the bottom of my favorite Christmas episodes because I didn't like that episode at all. But I also, the last episode for Smith was also one of my least favorites. So it's kind of like both of those are ones that I stay away from, even though they do have somewhat of a wintry, Christmassy type of feel to them. Those are both down there at the very bottom. This one, it's probably midway. I would definitely put Smith's episodes up there. I actually would even put Capaldi's first episode above this episode as well. Yeah.
What was the last Christmas, or what was his first episode?
Last Christmas was his first Christmas.
Christmas was his first Christmas.
Yeah.
The alien one.
Yes.
He only had a few. He had the Husbands of River song thereafter, right? No,
yeah, there were several of his. His would have been above this episode too. In fact, I'll put all three of his Christmas ones above this one. Yeah.
Not one, but 2 out of 3 bangers. Oh, he had 4.
Yeah, he did.
There's another one who had 4. Surprise.
Gotcha out there. So X for Show is saying you're doing our own poll for voting for Runaway Bride as Tennant's best Christmas episode. So we're doing something a little bit. And Andrew Morris agrees with me. Christmas Carol was pitch perfect. I loved it.
Yes.
I openly say
10 out of 10.
Like I said, it's not Christmas unless I watch that. I got it in the DVD player ready to go at any given time out there. Let me go ahead and grab some folks in the chat out here. Let me go ahead and say it. President Lemon gave me a hard time for starting the show late. Sorry, I'm understaffed. So Christmas Invasion, a solid 7 out of 10 for me. Fun episode, but a bad way to introduce a new doctor by having him sleep for it 75% of the time. Well, the funny thing is, Blink is everybody's favorite episode. When I ask people what would be, if you were introducing somebody as a gateway drug to Doctor Who, what would be the episode? And Blink always pops up. And a friend of mine said, why would you use Blink? He's barely there. It's a Sally Sparrow story from the eyes of a companion, which is cool. And it's an awesome story. It brings in the Weeping Angels. But like you said, Christmas Invasion really is just the Tylers and Mickey Smith trying to survive the world of Doctor Who. And then we get to see more of Harriet Jones, Prime Minister.
And you've got Danny Llewellyn, who's heading the space project, I think.
Yeah.
The Doctor a lot at the beginning. He explains what's going on with the aliens. And he's a Doctor for a while.
Gotcha out there. Edward says, happy Thanksgiving, and 8 out of 10. The killer Christmas trees risk being a little cheesy, not enough of the Doctor. So what do you think about that killer Christmas trees that showed up? They're going to be killed by a Christmas tree.
It happened.
John, I don't have a picture of that for some odd reason, but they're looking at the tree. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it might be a little cheesy, but I think Doctor Who fans have a weird lactose sensitivity because, so it's Christmas. It's Christmas trees attacking you. That's just the first thought, and it's fun.
Well, look at the long history of Doctor Who having incongruous things attacking you. It could be a creepy doll, it could be a dummy, it could be a telephone cord. This time it's a Christmas tree.
Well, thanks to Stephen Moffat. Yeah, thanks to Stephen Moffat. We can't breathe, can't look. You can't look away. You can't move. I mean, it's like, okay, we're dead. I can't do any of this.
Everything will get you. It's like living in Australia.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, Andrew Morris has said I would give it a 7, but it's not that great. I think everybody got a consensus out there. It's not one of the greatest. It was a fun romp ride to introduce David Tennant as his first Doctor, if you want to consider, unless that Children in Need special, you consider that his first appearance. But that was a gateway to bring him into this episode out there. Mark Robinson, our Candyman, says, but the episode is amazing because they finally cross over Hitchhiker's Guide in the same universe. So to give it an 8 just for the Arthur Dent reference. If anybody in the chats, please, by all means, give us your ratings. Tell us what you think about this episode. Okay, and we had Mackenzie. We're going to continue our review. Remember, this episode is going to be only an hour long, and then we're going to switch over to reviewing Destination Skaro, which will be in another studio, and the link should be provided in the chats. But for right now, let's go ahead and commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue our review of Doctor Who and the Christmas Invasion. Let's see if we get some positive stuff out there. Just a little bit on the... What was that, Tom?
What was what?
Whatever you were pulling out there.
You're seeing things. Go to commercial.
Oh, God. All right. Here we go.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
And we're back. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. I'm the host of the show. And I got our friends out here who are going to be reviewing the Christmas Invasion, the first episode, the first full episode of, I got to get this right because now it's all cluster out there these days. The first episode, full David Tennant of the first Christmas episode of David as the 10th Doctor. So I think I got that cleared. I think I got that all the hurdles on that one. So welcome. And again, if you want to join us in the chats and if you have any, you want to tell us about your review and ratings, we'll bring you up over here. But we're going to go ahead and continue our review.
Holy moly.
Really? Really?
Of course.
The bill. Oh, God. No, get him out of
Do your whole review as that. Do it.
Yes. You know what?
How do you know I don't do this when I'm on the chat for Access for Show?
You know what? It sounds just because Kevo said so. Tom, you are up. You rated this an 8. So you are definitely up. And you have to
it's my fault, not math.
You have to keep that up the whole time.
Oh, no.
Tell us what you think of Christmas Invasion. You rated it an 8.
I went with 10 because, 10th Doctor and everything. But then I was like, I read the article. I read people's comments. I went, oh, no. Yeah, he's in 25% of the show. Like,
you know what? You can stop. You can go to normal voice now. It's just going to be annoying.
I can't.
Yes, you can.
Well, I still got to hold a Bill, but I can talk normal voice.
You can hold Bill. I don't care. Let's go ahead and tell us.
Yeah.
In fact, he was in very little, but for my mind, so we have Casanova. He wants to go to Barcelona, and like me, I need a good Christmas rest as well, dealing with all these people. And since Doctor Who kind of revolved around the companions now, it made sense. Just give them time to build up everything. But yeah, that was a positive. Bring in the companions, see what they can do. Let's let them sit back for a bit, have a little snoozy woozy. But yeah, for his first appearance as a main episode, a main title for Doctor Who, but remember, I gave it an 8. I can't remember now. I'm like Michael Rosenbaum. I can't remember anything.
It wasn't an episode title that when I first heard, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." I was excited, but I was like, "That's where we're going with the Christmas Invasion." Okay, fine, whatever.
But he went with the Casanova thing, the fighting. Like, this is a fighting hand. That's why I had such a higher score for him, because he showed and proved that he can be that kind of doctor, and no more second chances. That's how I feel about things. No more second chances. So I just brought it down to 8.
Even though it gave everybody quite a few second chances out there. I've got examples.
But everyone else did a lower score. I said, okay, I will aim it so high. I'll just go with an 8. Turn it sideways is the infinity loop.
Well, I told the audience that you had changed your score. What was it originally, and why did you drop it?
When I got onto YouTube, because I wasn't sure I was going to be on the show, and I read President Lemon's review and said he gave it that solid 10, because having the doctor asleep for 75% of it. So yeah, it makes sense. And then hearing everyone's scores getting lower and lower, it's like, you know what? That makes sense. I can't aim it so high. For a Christmas episode, it was like, just because he did all this Casanova, all the fighting scenes, and it's like, okay, that's it. No more second chances. That's who my doctor is. That kind of thing. But you know, I kind of aimed a little too high, trying to reach the sky. So 8 felt better to me. Nothing lower. I'm sorry.
I bet you had it at 10, and then you said you read something somewhere.
Yeah,
and you dropped it by 2 notches. Yeah.
Yeah, so
gotcha.
And then everyone else went down. It's like, you know what? Yeah, my expectations were a little bit too high on that number. More realistically, I just gave it an 8.
Now, Andrew asks a good question. We'll just take a sidetrack here. Which was Tennant's best Christmas story? So we have the Christmas Invasion.
I think that was the vote earlier.
And what was
Christmas Invasion, Runaway Bride, the next Titanic, the next Doctor, and his finale. So
wow, so yeah, 5.
And you could count Waters of Mars because they like to say it's Christmas, but like,
well, those are specials, right? It was the Waters of Mars. It was
it's Christmas in the background of that one, though.
Christina D'Souza was the Easter version.
That was Easter.
So
I think Tennant Christmas, I always think of the giant Christmas star in the sky blasting people. Nothing says Christmas to me but that.
Mackenzie, if you were to pick a Tennant episode, what would you think? What would be the one you'd watch for Christmas?
Mine would definitely be Voyage of the Damned. It just, with the Titanic falling down and crashing into stuff. Yeah, that's definitely, you see a lot of the different angles of the Doctor there, and a little bit more of his dark side. So that one for me would be my go-to.
Actually, like I think it was a Cobble something, his take on our holidays.
Yeah.
And the turkey, they would eat the turkey people or whatever. Not, I just remember that. I'm just like, okay, I got. Tom, what would you pick as Tennant's baby? And anybody in the chats, please, by all means, what would be your Tennant episode? What would you go to?
I agree with Mackenzie. It's still lighthearted. Had Kylie Minogue. Had the guy on there. He played Richard in Keeping Up with Appearances, one of my favorite British shows with.
That's right.
Bouquet.
It's Bucket. Alina, what would you pick as Tennant's? You had to pick out of the 5. Which is your favorite Christmas episode?
I don't really have a favorite because I just enjoy it individually. what they are. But if I had to pick one, maybe as a personal favorite, probably The Runaway Bride.
Okay.
Because I really liked the spark between Donna and Ten, and I had fun watching it after what happened to Rose. So I thought it was a great way to kind of like forget what happened between those two, that previous story. So I was very entertained. I was very, very interested in Donna, and I think that's why it'll be my little personal favorite, The Runaway Bride.
And you're on The Runaway Bride as well, Keva, right?
Yeah, I love that perspective, though. I showed someone after Doomsday because they were so depressed. We went directly into Runaway Bride, and it is such a mood change. But that's the story. It really goes one into the next. So,
well, Christmas.
And I have to go for Runaway Bride too, because it's something that it bounces back and forth, and you also get the feels because he does lose Donna for the first time in the end, and then he gets her back later. Also, it's the first impression of the Doctor where he's gone too far. It's the first mention of Gallifrey, which I geeked out when I heard the name finally. It's like, okay, he always referred to it as his homeworld or his planet or his people, but Gallifrey finally showed up in the name there. President Lemon says The Unquiet Dead is the best Doctor Who Christmas episode. Okay. I don't know if that was a Christmas episode, but to be fair, Eccleston didn't have any Christmas episodes. We just kind of went into it out there.
It's his Christmas story.
Yes. Yeah. And I think they don't do enough with Rose's struggle to get over the regeneration. I thought it would have played a bigger part. You might be right. I don't know if that would have been the Christmas invasion.
That's the part, though. That's the crying.
Well, what do you mean? Like it wasn't shown enough that she was struggling with the regeneration from 9 to 10. Like it wasn't convincing enough.
I think that's what President Lemon means. I think he wanted more struggle, but I don't know if. I think if you put too much into it, it would have gone for too long. Unless those two were by themselves, like there was no Mickey and no Jackie, and it was just him and her, and the TARDIS lands and they crashed on the street, and that's all. She had to rely on herself to help the Doctor and try to understand what this regeneration thing is. That would have been the only way. But they brought in the others.
It's a story I'd like to see, but I don't think it was the place for it. And in fact, I think they wanted to quickly have Rose get over that anxiety.
Yeah, I agree. I think is how do I say it? Really how the story went. It wasn't like Rose had really had a time to actually digest everything that's happening. I mean, the Doctor just regenerated. He was recuperating. Then this attack was going on in her town. So everything is going at the same time. And I don't think it will fit within the story of Rose actually showing that long lasting struggle, because she did show that she was worried about him. She was still trying to figure it out what's this regeneration thing, because she only had a brief I guess explanation of the Ninth Doctor where he said, oh, it's a way to cheat death, but she didn't know what that meant until she saw that it happened. So I think within the story and the acting, I think it was appropriate, in my opinion. I think it was more than appropriate. She's just a human girl. She was, 19, 20 at that time? So it was a lot to do. So I think we should give her credit, at least her character credit for that.
Shows her strength.
Yeah. And plus the fact that he was sick, I mean, that David Tennant's Doctor was sick at that point. I don't think really that was a place for her to really react to, oh my gosh, it's not my Doctor anymore, because she was more concerned with his well-being, because she could see that he was not well. And if that hadn't happened, perhaps we would have had a more of like a Clara reaction out of her. It's very possible, but I'm glad the way that episode was, so that we really could see more of how Rose was handling everything. And definitely have to give her credit where credit's due.
I got you. And I think it might have just been too dwelling on the story, because it was all action, everything was going on, and it was trying to be a typical Doctor Who story where we gotta move, and to just sit on these two for too long, it might have slowed the story or the pace down. And adding Mickey and Jackie, I think, sped it up, especially now that we're bringing in Harriet Jones, Prime Minister, and all of the team out there. And the space aliens, the Sycorax. So it was go.
And they were after him. They were after him. They were after him to kill him. And so she knows that the universe depends on the Doctor. So it feels like it was depending on her at the same time. So it was a lot to take. That's what I'm saying. I think she deserves credit.
Oh, okay. Mark Candyman says, I think if somebody can just confirm that. It's not that I don't blame him. I just want to make sure. Mark says that the Unquiet Dead premiered on Christmas?
No, it did not.
Or so he's talking about something else. Maybe I'm jumping around here. Like I said, I don't have the team. I'm doing my own chats tonight.
The Unquiet Dead. No.
The 11th Hour is the best first episode for someone. Okay.
It's
literally killer candy.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
And we get an apology, Mackenzie, from Dan, which you don't have to give. I have to admit that I like Widow and the Wardrobe. Sorry, Mackenzie.
It's redeeming qualities.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is what it
Especially
is.
the
I have
tag.
a whole personal thing to the Witch and Wardrobe. So because Dan does not have that personal connection like I do, I was in the play, and there's some of my best memories as a teen. It's really hard for me when I go and look at that episode. I'm more expecting something more of like what I personally experienced, and I don't get that at it's a letdown.
No, and that's weird. I really agree with you. The season finale of Ahsoka had a similar naming title where it's like the Jedi, the Witch, and the something. And it's a similar naming thing where like Narnia doesn't exist in Star Wars. This has nothing to do with Narnia. This episode had nothing to do with Narnia except for like it's kind of like it with the wardrobe part.
Yeah.
And so immediately you're misleading your audience. So like, what do you expect?
Well, on that note, I meant The Runaway Bride didn't have Julia Roberts or Richard Gere in it.
But it had a runaway bride.
It had a runaway bride. That was
bride.
the only thing that was runaway anything on that one.
There's barely a wardrobe in the Doctor Who episode.
That's true.
Barely a wardrobe.
So we'll continue with the chats. Edward says Blink's mission statement was to tell a Doctor Light story. Christmas Invasion was to introduce a new Doctor by keeping him asleep for most of the time. I don't know. Or
it's hard.
Well, the thing is, when I saw that, when I saw that conclusion, I thought what they were doing was they were teasing David Tennant's Doctor, because I think everybody knew. Everybody wanted to see what 10 was all about now. What was he going to be? And instead of giving you 10, they were like giving you appetizers. Well, here's Jackie again. Here's Mickey. Here's Rose. And then you see, what was it? The where is it? There it is. He's in bed and he's regenerating. And you see the regeneration come out and the Sycorax kind of pick up on it. And, then he wakes up and he knocks out the Christmas tree. So I think that they were just giving teasers every now and then until he finally wakes up and then he starts moving about, but he's still trying to get his act together, which was
I do have a response to that.
Sure.
Where it says, let's see, I have my glasses on. Christmas Invasion was to introduce a new Doctor by keeping him asleep for most of the time. I don't see it that way. I don't see it as a bad way. I think the point is the Doctor is the Doctor. 9 is 10, 10 is 11, 11 is 12, and so on and so forth. So the point is that the Doctor sacrificed himself to save Rose. And so this introduction to the 10, it is like you said, Christian, it is a sort of a tease. I mean, he's regenerating because he practically, sacrificed, you know what I mean, the ninth regeneration for Rose. So I do see that. I don't see it separate, like David from Christopher or Chris. Oh my God, Christopher.
Yeah.
I don't see it that way. I see the Doctor recuperating from something that he did for a human girl, which is Rose. He did a huge thing, and that's the way I see it. He's in bed because being the let's just put it that way, strong being the universe, right? Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
He's recuperating. He's still regenerating everything from all that, from what happened. So I don't see it as a bad thing or as a bad intro to David Tennant. But this is my opinion, of course, my observation only, of course, not stumping anybody's observation or opinion. But that's the way I see it. I think it's a great intro, because we, as the audience, as myself, I was a newbie watching Doctor Who. My first Doctor obviously was the 9th. I was just getting into this story for myself. I still don't know who the Doctor was. So it's a great way to show the audience that this is the Doctor. This is him.
So it's sort of like I feel like you're saying the story isn't any amount of being afraid that the Doctor isn't going to wake up. We know, and like you now as a Whovian, now that when you rewatch that episode, like you get the Doctor is always going to be fine. The Doctor is always going to be the Doctor. The story is really more about watching Rose react, and Rose never give up, even when it always feels hopeless. The entire time, she never gave up, and we always knew the Doctor was going to be fine, and he's still going to be essentially the same man, a different, facet, but the same character. So I really get that perspective. That's very
so cool. We were being introduced to the Doctor as Rose was being introduced to the Doctor.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And making the fear of regeneration more real for and seeing how that's real for the companion. Whereas when you're just a regular viewer, you're like, it's regeneration. Who cares? He's gonna be fine. But like Rose is terrified.
Yeah. Also, it's following the formula of Spearhead from Space, which is a good, solid intro episode. I'm sure RTD saw it when he was a kid, where we meet John Pertwee, the 3rd Doctor. So we've got the Doctor unconscious for half the story. He's earthbound. Unit is in it. You've got, instead of Autons, you got Santa Clauses.
I was thinking Castrovelva, because the Doctor literally dies, and then it takes the Watcher to come in to bring them, so he has to recuperate. That's what I was thinking earlier. I really need to take notes if I'm even considered to being on the show, because I can't remember anything at all. That's why I had a higher score. He had to recuperate. He absorbed all the energy from the TARDIS, for God's sakes. He's like, whoa, I need a rest. Thank you. I absorbed everything.
We're up against a commercial break, but Nick, I want you to go ahead and give us your number. You were one of the higher ones.
All right.
And what was your number and why?
Yes. Because it's awesome. I love it. And think about the anticipation that we have for the specials that are coming up now. A lot of Doctor Who is about anticipation. So building that anticipation of, what is the 10th Doctor going to be like? How's he going to play the character? How's Tennant going to be? He's finding that fit, but we're building up that anticipation. If he was, bounced up straight away at the beginning of the episode, we would not have any of that. And we really see it through the perspective of the family, Rose's family.
Right.
When they hear the TARDIS materializing, they're excited, just like a Doctor Who fan. And just Rose going through the ache of caring about the Doctor. It's kind of like a change in our relationship, something we can really relate to. And the fact that they play on that RTD played on that, really helped me to empathize with what was going on. You got the bigger budget, you've got the orchestral music, shinier effects. It's an epic, you got people standing on the Colosseum. The Queen's speech is cancelled, which would never happen in England, for heaven's sake. The Queen's speech is cancelled. But it's our independent.
Have Sycorax walking around her, and she would still talk.
Right. It's a lot of fun stuff. I like the ending as well. I like the kind of twist in the ending, where Harriet Jones goes down. It's an extra layer that didn't have to be there, but really gives it more emotional complexity. So lots of goodies in there. I love David Tennant just kind of finding his fit. Just imagine how excited he was just to start playing the Doctor. You can almost see it in his eyes, can't you?
It was a role he was born to play with. He's been good ever since. And now he's been the 4th time he's taking on this role. I don't know. I've lost count. Speaking of losing count, we're going to be back. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to wrap up our review and get to your chats as quickly as I can get to them. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in. We'll be right back, folks.
Into the stratosphere by the popular social media app Yin Yang.
I just think it's incredible that someone from our hometown we knew so well.
That's my holy
grail. You are the closest thing this town has to a hero.
I'm still just Jake.
Just letting people know, Worlds Apart is now moved to an app, and I'm the team over there has been kind enough to let me try it, and I will give you our results as soon as we get more information about it. But the app is a little different from the game that you've seen on the screen out there. So, and I encourage people to play it once it goes online there. But I was very happy to get that and trying it out. It's actually quite fun. It does reference the game itself that you see over there with the trading cards and stuff, but it's on a smaller scale. I think you can play it like in 5 minutes each game, and then you can play other people and try something a little different, and you can change out the cards too. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and we are going to go back to your chats out here. Let me see if I can grab everybody's. There were ones that gave the reviews. Dan Holyfield from Last Man Standing. Check him out on the YouTube. I give Christmas Invasion a low 8 just because of the way the Doctor gives Harriet her up comments. You didn't like that? Or was that little like what I call, I don't want to say the word cringe, but it did throw things off.
Random.
It was random. It was like, I can't give you a happy ending type deal. It's like, I thought we were all happy, but nope, not really. And then we get to see the Sycorax as their spaceship's breaking down, going into on the planet, which I thought was funny, is because it's snowing. It's like, no, it's ash. I'm like, it's hitting you, girl. Wouldn't you know the difference? It's not cold. And Roger says 8 for me, 2 for Christmas Invasion, and the 10th Doctor immediately losing a hand while he woke up regenerating. Yeah, that's still kind of that little ditty.
It's very a fighting hand.
Yeah, it's fine a hand. And President Lemon, I might give it a 7.5 because we get to see an alien killed with a Satsuma. Okay, there you go. Death by fruit, I see there. And let's get
Joyce Christmas right there.
Yep, let's get back to your chats out there. Andrew is just confirming that he's saying I think his favorite Christmas episode is Voyage of the Dam as well. Andrew continues and says, I think the TV movie did a better job introducing a new Doctor, even though McGann wasn't in the first 20 minutes. Tennant's was awesome in the last 15, but could have had at least half the runtime. I'm going to say, Andrew, I kind of disagree. And the only reason why is that, and I think this is what happened, you were getting used to Sylvester, and then all of a sudden Sylvester died and became somebody else. And I think that confused a lot of people who were not familiar with the regeneration scene. Whereas Russell T started off with Christopher Eccleston, and we were getting familiar with the character, and then we were going to involve regeneration at a later time. So people got comfortable first, and then this is the fighting hand out there. Roger, my favorite Christmas specials were A Christmas Carol and the one with Father Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving week. You too, my friend. Take care out there. Sorry, we're jumping around out here. Nothing says Christmas like a disaster movie with a space Titanic flying into Buckingham Palace. Kylie Minogue, Tuxedo, and Flying Angels. Sounds like it was hot out there. Roger says, the next Doctor for me, the TARDIS is a hot air balloon. I liked the next Doctor.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
I thought that was, now that we've established who the Doctor is and regeneration, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the governor from The Walking Dead was the next Doctor? And I think a lot of people would have loved that. Mark Robinson, Kylie, My Christmas, End of Time, Part 1. President Lemon says, Voyage of the Damned, because Russell is getting trolled with Max right now. Oh, Max Capricorn, that's right.
It's almost like it can grow in 15 years.
We'll be talking about that in the next episode. I think I know where President Lemon is going out with this. Roger says, then we find out because the Doctor is the timeless child, we don't know where he or she is originally from. Roger's responding to President Lemon, I honestly can't wait to see Ruth Mandely's new character working for UNIT in the 60th anniversary special, and hopefully in the UNIT spin-offs as well. I can't either. Roger says, I heard a rumor that the late Harriet Jones will somehow be in the 60th anniversary special, probably the Wild Blue Yonder episode, since we don't know much about it. Andrew says, C.S. Lewis meets H.G. Wells meets Father Christmas. That is the Doctor. Yes, that is the case out there. And
Did you write that? I like that.
Let's go ahead and wrap up news, because Melina had the highest score of 9.5. That's a really cool.
Aren't you surprised?
I don't know about the
so.
Cool. I mean, it's everybody's take. So give us your take. Why did you give it?
So I'm gonna recycle kind of what I've said before. First of all, I want to start by saying that my first impression. Bear with me. This is the first time watching Doctor Who, so I think I'm trying to separate the emotional part with the more logic, critical kind of thinker type.
Mm-hmm.
Because Doctor Who for me was, when I first started, it was so attractive to me. And when Rose, I felt myself being Rose. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I really liked being this adventure with the Ninth Doctor and all these dangers, and kind of be attracted to that danger and the what the Doctor is. So when David Tennant came in, now mind you, I mean, I don't know any of these actors. When they're casted, I don't know. I'm not from the UK, so I don't know. But I felt what Rose was feeling. But from a fan perspective, I was excited. So when the Christmas Invasion came, I thought, for me, I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun, and an introduction. Was it weird? Yes, the Christmas tree was weird. I did like the fact that even though it was just Rose, and I know that David Tennant was in bed, but I liked the tension and the idea of me trying to relate what Rose feel. My gosh, I'm a human girl. I have to protect this alien because they're coming after him, and the Earth, the universe depends on this Doctor. So it's interesting seeing that the world depended on this Doctor who's laying in bed in pajamas.
Right.
Still trying to recuperate. So I thought that was fun, and I thought that was alluring. And just the way David Tennant, or the 10th Doctor, let's put it that way, the 10th Doctor came in, I was really excited. I felt like, oh wow, my hero, here's a hero coming in, and still trying to understand what the Doctor is. Mind you, again, this is from the first time seeing it perspective, right? That it was exciting. I was like, okay, so he is the Doctor. He's still the 9th Doctor. And he's just asking himself, when he was saying, am I sexy? Am I good looking? Or something like that. Whatever. Am I good looking? Am I funny? Am I mean, sarcastic? Something like that.
Right.
And I liked how he was so charming, and how he introduced himself. And I like how he was shown as this still a very fun kind of person or doctor that he is, but then he's very serious. I mean, he might take joy out of life in general, even though he regenerated, and it's a very psychological process still. But I liked how he knew what he had to do, because he knew he had to save Rose, and not only that, he had to save her home planet and the universe. So I liked how he took his role seriously afterwards, knowing that this is me. I'm still the Doctor. My looks have changed, maybe some kind of the personality, maybe because regeneration is still a psychological thing. I don't want to go too deep on that, right? But that's why I liked it. The whole entire episode, just everything. It might be cheesy for some, it might be kind of dull for some. For me, it was fun. And like I said, maybe I'm adding a little motion to it, and I'm trying not to. I promise I am. But I thought it was a fun intro, and I've seen it many, many times, and I could say, and I can be objective of it to call it still a great episode. And I loved Rose in this episode as well. How she handled it, and I loved how David Tennant made her character feel like how do I say, to compare us, or to relate to her, as her being human, us being human, and how to handle an alien so charismatic, so weird, I guess you could say. And I loved it. I loved it, and how Russell made this episode, and I love the ending. And it did not make me forget 9, obviously, because I love 9, but it made me accept, okay, so this is the Doctor. Yes, the face is different, but I'm gonna go with this, and Rose accepted it, so I'm gonna accept it as well. So that's why I find it so fun, in my perspective, of course.
Gotcha. Well, folks, I do apologize. We are moving, and the link to the second show is online right now. We're going to be moving there in just a few moments. So just wanted to let you know. Thank you so much, team. Some of us are going to be moving over to the next link. We're going to be reviewing Destination Skaro, and we'll be addressing some of the mention of Russell T. Davies, what he said and how we feel about that. And we're just going to talk it out and see how things are. First of all, we're going to review it, and then we're going to just have a discussion about that. No, you're fine. So don't forget, we're moving over to right now. The link is in the description, or you can go over to the YouTube channel. They'll be starting up momentarily. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this review. And in just a few moments, we're going to be reviewing Destination Skaro. And again, don't forget, on your way out the door, for some of you, go ahead, make sure that you are sharing, subscribing, letting people know that we are going to be your Doctor Who podcast for all things Who out there. And don't forget the December 1st, we are going to be doing the 25 Days of Christmas on the Facebook and the YouTube channel. So without further ado, take it away, Tony. We're going home. We're going to the next thing.